Hello, my name is Mark Shipton. So today I'm going to be talking to you about an ANPR system which I designed. Now, technology has developed rapidly over the years, and this technology has affected the police service in a very positive way by allowing various systems to be developed. Now, one of these systems is an ANPR system, which stands for Automatic Number Plate Recognition System. Now, a couple of months back, the North Yorkshire Police approached me with a problem that they need solving. It was a project, and this project was to code software for an ANPR system. Now, this ANPR system would be running on a laptop, running Windows 11 in the back of a van. And I had certain requirements. So I had one of the requirements was that I needed a menu system, which had an operator mode and an admin mode. Now, and this system needed to be able to scan vehicles, take their VRN info, see if they were speeding, and then compare that VRN info if they had P&C marked vehicles that came by, and then store at the end of the shift all of the vehicles scanned in a file, the speeding vehicles in a file, and the P&C vehicles in a file. That happened all in the operator menu. And in the admin menu, the admin needed to be able to add, amend, delete these vehicle registration numbers, either from the speeding, the P&C marked, or all the vehicles. Now, the design of my project. To do this project, I needed to take a very systematic approach. This is where a soft development methodology was a really good solution. The methodology I used was a waterfall methodology. This is a very linear methodology. I chose this methodology as the goals and the constraints of this project are all set out, and they won't change during the development of the software. Also, I'm a very inexperienced software engineer, and it makes following a linear methodology more manageable and more time effective, which is really good for the customer, which is the North Yorkshire Police. Now, for my design, I used many diagrams and charts. The first diagram that I used was a use case diagram, where I explain a very complex project in a very simple way. So now on the left we can see we've got a record/user/operator, and we've got our admin. These are two actors, this is the system right here. Now, both of the characters are going to log in, verify password, and of course display a login error if, they get the password wrong. Now, the record user/operator is going to interact with the ANPR system to activate it or deactivate it. Of course, this operator is just sitting in the van, turn it on and turn it off. It doesn't need to do much else because the program runs itself. After the shift, the admin, which could be back at the police quarters, is going to be able to look at all the vehicles, the P&C marked vehicles or the SP marked vehicles. And it's going to be able to, in the text field in the program, which I'll show in a bit, add, delete or amend these records. And going into this add, delete or amend text field are all the files for SP marked all vehicles and P&C marked vehicles. So the second diagram that I made was a sequence diagram. This is slightly more complex than the use case, but not as complex. It's not as complex as the coding, which we'll get to in a bit. Now, on the left we can see we have the admin sequence diagram, and on the right we have the operator diagram. Now we'll start with the admin. We've got the main menu, admin menu password control, and the admin menu. These are all the interactions which are between the different objects of the system. We can see here the admin is going to request the option of the admin menu, then it's going to request access to the admin menu, to the admin menu password control. Of course, it's going to ask for a password. The admin will enter the password. If it's correct, it gets access to the admin menu. If it's incorrect, either he'll have to re-enter the password or exit. Now, in the admin menu, there's a couple of things which can be done. The first one is the admin can request to display the P&C marked vehicles, SP marked vehicles, or all vehicles scanned. And of course, the admin menu will respond and put this into the text field for him. Now, the admin can also amend, add, or delete the data which is in this text field, and then he will update the changes by clicking on a button which will show in the program, and then the updates will be made by the admin menu. If we look at the operator, the basic same layout: main menu and operator menu password control, and the operator menu. This part right here is the same as the admin, but the operator menu has two other functions. So, in the operator menu, the operator can turn on the ANPR system, and the system will be turned on by the operator menu. The operator can turn the system off, and the operator will turn the system off. Now, for the next diagram chart, I've used a flow chart. This flow chart is a little bit more complex than the last two diagrams, and this shows on the basic level my programming plan. Now we can see the ANPR program, we can see the menu system with operator and admin with the password checks that we just went through, and of course the operator mode can turn on and off. And when it turns on, it has the ANPR software right here with the VRN info coming from the camera and the VRN info coming from a file from the police database, and that will be stored in memory. If the system is turned off, then that memory uploads into the three files, which is the PNC marked, SB marked, and all vehicles, which is the end of shift CSV file. Now, of course, the admin can look at the vehicle scan, add records, remove records, or amend records. Now, the next chart I made was the structure chart. This chart shows the input, process, and output of my system. The input, we can see the police database sends VRNs into the VRN info file, and the camera VRN strings are stored in a file, and this is our input into our system. Looking at the process, again, we've got the admin menu, we've got the operator menu. The admin menu, you can see, can display all vehicles, PNC marked vehicles, or SB marked vehicles where it could be add, deleted, or amended in the text field. In the operator menu, we can activate and deactivate the system. When we activate the system, there's going to be a file created for the camera strings, which are coming in. There's going to be a file created for the VRN info. And of course, with the activation, the ANPR system is going to be run. Now, the camera is going to store strings in the pre-memory array, where they're coming in. It's going to compare these camera strings to the VRN info, and then upload these into the actual memory array. So we've got a pre-memory array, which is coming in, and then it's going to be compared and put into the actual memory array. When the system is deactivated, it's going to scan the pre-memory for the SB marked vehicles and upload them to a file. It's going to scan the memory for PNC marked vehicles and upload them to a file, and upload all vehicles which are scanned to a file, and that's our output, all three files. Now, the program. Now, we're just going to head over to our program right here, which is being run by NetBeans, as we may be able to see. This is our basic menu. This is where we start. This is the main menu. We have our admin mode and our operator mode. We can also see we've got the badge here from the North Yorkshire Police, and we've also got an exit button, which we'll use at the very last moment, of course. So first we're going to go into the operator mode. We can see it opens a little menu here saying we need to enter our password. Now, the password for this, which I shouldn't really tell you, but for demonstration purposes I can, is panda123, and I'll add a 4 because that's the wrong password, and it should show us a incorrect password. Now, if we just go back and enter the correct password, then we get access to the operator menu where we see we can have system on, system off, or exit. Now, at the moment, if we look in here in our files and look at here where our ANPR system program is, we've only got a camera VRN info and our VRN info, which have just been created when we started the program. Now, if we turn the system on, we can see the system has been turned on. Now, all the VRNs have been stored in pre-memory and in the memory, where they've been compared with the VRN info from pre-memory and put into normal memory. Okay, we can still see we don't have any extra files here at the moment. But when we click on system off, when the files are going to be created, if we look over here, we now have the PNC marked vehicles, SB marked vehicles, and the end of shift file. And if we open these, we can see we've got all of our VRNs and all the data in them, and each file has something in them, as we'll be able to tell. There we go. Now, if we exit this menu, we'll be taken back to the main menu, and then we go into admin mode. This is the same concept, same password. If you put the wrong password in, it will, if we just put a 1 in, incorrect password. But for this one, the password is carrot123. Oh, I think I put the password in wrong. Let's have a look. There we go. Now we have access to the admin menu. In here, we can see, click on the buttons to see the list of the particular vehicle scans. So that's these three. Modify the records, which will be in here. And click the update changes next to the button, press the store changes. Click on the clear text area when updates have been made. So if we just click on the SP marked vehicles here, look, we got all of our SP marked vehicles here. And we're just going to add a test, and then let's say it's 12 o'clock and it was speeding. Just simple. Then we update the changes, clear text area. Now, these all do the same thing. So if we click on here and we add just test and another test, and we update the changes, and we look, these are all our vehicles, and we just add another test, and another test. This is just, I'm just adding tests so we can actually see this has been updated to the file, so we'll show it in a minute. Update those changes, clear text area, and we exit. Now, if we just scroll over here, see, wait, it just showed up. Let's go to our files. Let's go to our end of shift. Look, test has been added. Now, if we go to our files again, we go into our PNC marked files. We can see test has been added to this one. But then if we also go to our SP marked ones, which is just here, we can see test, we put in 12 and he was speeding. Now, when we're done, we click on exit and then we've exited our program. That's the basic way that my program works. Okay, it's not very complex. Okay, I've tried to make it look very simple with the admin and the operator menu. Now, thank you for listening. This project was very successful, and I learned a lot from this project. And thank you for listening.